Well, the Houston Astros rotation is in question. Is this a reload or a rebuild year? Hunter Brown is the ace. We're going to talk about it on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey, and we are the Locked On Astros podcast. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Go to make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are your team every day throughout the whole offseason. Whatever happens, whatever Dana Brown decides to do, we will be here for you. So, guys, go and stick around for us. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app and use the code, create an account and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. So in today's show, we're going to kind of look at the starting rotation. The starting rotation is something that the Astros, they have some good pieces, some good building blocks, but at the same time, who's going to be the other guys? Because as we saw in 2025, there were a lot of injuries, a lot of backups were needed, and the Astros went off. I know that you talked about it on Friday, but Nate Pearson is now a member of the Houston Astros. Who is going to be that gap, I guess, the next person up? And so there's so much to decide on. Are the Astros are going to go for the big name starting pitcher? Are they bringing back Framber Valdez? Just some of the topics we'll be talking about on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be Hunter Brown's rotation because I don't see Framber Valdez coming back. This was an elite rotation, could have been elite this year had they not dealt with all the injuries.
Right.
Even with Jason Alexander coming in, being a shining star and a lot of dull performances outside of Brown and outside of Framber Valdez when he was great. This is clearly his staff. He's the ace. He's the leader. The Tigers have Scooble. The Pirates have Skeens. The Astros have Hunter Brown. And so going forward, we know, like I mentioned, Framber Valdez probably is gone. Luis Garcia, we know, is not going to pitch because he had another Tommy John surgery. You really can't depend on Lance McCullers Jr. I hope they were joking about Lance McCullers going 15-1 and pitching 200 innings. And Christian Javier, what is he going to look like? Spencer Arrighetti. On the cover of the show tonight, I put Brown, I put Arrighetti, I put Javier, and I put Jason Alexander. I still think the Astros need to go out and get somebody and make a move, but this is definitely a rotation that's in transition, Eric.
Yeah, it all depends on what they decide to do with Lance McCullers. I know that he made that transition to the bullpen last year, but was that just because of the need at the moment? But even when they needed a starting pitcher, they went to somebody other than Lance McCullers. So maybe his time as a starting pitcher is over, at least for now, due to health issues. So JP France, we didn't really see a lot from him last year, but he could be another innings eater once he gets stretched out. But like you said, Jason Alexander, he showed a lot this past year, and I think that he's going to be part of the core four. And despite Christian Javier, he had his good days and his bad days. That's going to happen when you have somebody coming back from Tommy John surgery. But Christian Javier is being paid to be one of those top three guys. Yeah. And so he's going to get that first shot, and he has to prove that he can stay healthy. And so the question is, Nate Pearson, was this a guy that they really intend to use as a starter? Because that's what the plan is. They want to throw him into rotation, see what he could do. He's a 6'6" guy. He has a lot of height. He has he has the stuff that I know you talked about it on the little short you did the other day, but he has the stuff that the Astros can mold into a decent starting pitcher. But can you really have a lot of faith in a guy like this that hasn't really been able to perform at the big league level?
Yeah, I mean, right now you got to kind of hang on what he's done in AAA, where he struck out 11.5 batters per nine. He clearly in 2023 he was 5-2 with a 4.85 ERA with 43 strikeouts and only 42 innings. He upped his strikeout rate a little bit in 24, going 66 and 1/3 innings pitched with 74 strikeouts there, Eric. And then this last year had 9.20 ERA in only 11 games with only 14 innings pitched. He's got great velocity, 93rd percentile. He's got great extension on his arm. He is a 4-pitch guy. He's a 4-seam slider, curveball, sinker guy, mainly 4-seam, mainly slider. As big a righty as he is this a guy that we could get in there to do a changeup? When we talked to Jason Alexander, you and I talked to Jason Alexander, Mike and I talked to Jason Alexander, and he talked about his front foot changeup. And he may just have to look at adding to his arsenal. And the Astros, I think, saw an opportunity to, use him as a reclamation project. He's still young enough, 29 years old, to where he's not too long in the tooth. Really, the 28th overall pick in the first round back in 2017, was really projected to be one of the aces for Toronto, but like you mentioned, has never really panned out. We've seen this over and over again, and I don't see why any Astros faithful fans should be worried about this signing, because it's a low risk, high reward. And if he doesn't amount to much, you're giving him $1.5 million, whatever it was, less than $2 million. Right. And if he works out and he's a 3 or a 4 guy, or heck, even if he's my number 5 guy like Jason Alexander, then this guy comes in and he's nails. I mean, there you go. That's one less arm you have to go spend $20+ million on, because the arms that are out there are free agents. They're not going to be cheap.
Yeah, we'll talk about some of those in a little bit, but a lot of the 2026 season, somebody was asking, well, I know that's Joe. He's a Rangers fan, but a lot of people are thinking, is this a rebuild season? Are the Astros going to mail it in and just not re-sign Farmer Valdez, not bring in any other starting pitchers? They could do that, but a lot of the Astros' success in 2026 is going to hinge on Spencer Arrighetti. I know that he didn't have a great season last year. He lost a lot of time because of that weird injury where he was in the outfield and a ball hit his thumb. He missed some time with that. Right. And when he came back, he had some highs, some lows, but overall, he shows the promise. In 2024, he was 7-13 with a 4.53 ERA. He had 171 strikeouts and 145 innings pitched. That shows that he's probably going to be a guy that's going to strike out a lot of people, but he also walked a lot of people, 4 per 9 innings pitched. He allowed 1.3 home runs. This is 2024. I'm kind of using that more as a indicator of what he can do versus last year, because he tried to come back from the injury. But Spencer Arrighetti, rumors had it was the Padres wanted him in a Dylan Cease deal, and so if they weren't willing to do that, they still have faith in him. So he's got a lot to prove next year. I'm not gonna say it's do or die for him, but he's really got to do something, because I think we're all in agreement that Framber Valdez is likely not going to be back with the Houston Astros unless there's a radical change. But I think Arrighetti will be a big part of the rotation, in addition to Christian Javier and Jason Alexander. The question is that we'll go and continue this conversation next, Brett. Who is going to be the 5th guy? And as we saw last year, you're going to need a 6th guy. You're going to need a 7th guy. So we'll go and talk about this and more. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check us out.
Hey everybody, it's John Wheelhouse here, and I'm here to tell you about Game Time. There's nothing like catching a baseball game live, the energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person, but actually getting tickets, that's the tough part. Queues, login screen, surprise fees, it's all there and takes the fun out of it. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. I love this app, and they have these zone deals that are amazing. Basically, I pick the selection, Game Time picks the seats, and you save big. Honestly, it's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way that you can buy tickets, and I am one that attests to it. And I swear by it. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. We are your team every day. We'll be here all off season, and between Brett and I, we have over 18 years of podcasting experience. And so go ahead and make us part of your daily routine throughout the whole off season. So today we're focusing a little bit on the rotation, and we know that there's a high chance that Framber Valdez is going to be gone. Luis Garcia is not going to be in the rotation. He's going to miss the entire year. So those are two big arms. I know that Garcia didn't pitch much last year, but the Astros was definitely challenged last year. They didn't go out and make a trade like they did the year before with Kikuchi, but they probably should have. So the question I have for you, Brett, is Dana Brown went into the offseason last year, and he didn't really make any big major additions with the pitching. And he just kind of went with what they had. I mean, there's some little minor pieces that they added, but no big names. Did Dana Brown learn from last year? Hey, maybe we can't go into the season hoping that these injured players will perform for us. Let me go out and get a starting pitcher. What do you think, Brett?
I mean, he certainly could. I know I've been on the Ranger Suarez train for about a month now because of his age, but his market value is at $26 million, where he previously made $11.3 million. So he's going to double in price. So he's definitely, I think, out of the Astros price range. There are guys like Zach Gallen, Zach Eflin, who are both 31 and 30. Merrill Kelly's a little long on the tooth at 37. I need guys that are not super old, okay? I need guys that are around their 30s. I mean, you have Zach Littell, who I'm not a big fan of, but you got Aaron Savali. I'm sitting here looking through all these guys. Taylor Male from Texas is actually market value is only 5. The market value for Justin Verlander is actually $7 million. So he's actually affordable. I wonder if you can get him for under 10 for like on a 1-year deal. But there are plenty of arms out there that I think garner the type of value that the Astros can buy into. Unrestricted free agents, trading partners. I'm not sure who they would have to trade or who they would want to trade. Like you mentioned, the Dylan Cease thing and Spencer Arrighetti being named. So I think Cease and Suarez might be priced out of what the Astros want to do, but if they're serious about it, I think they need to aim as high as they can because as we've seen this last year, you can never have too much pitching. But I'm not so excited about older pitchers. The only older pitcher I would really go after is probably Justin Verlander if I get him for around $8 or $9 million. I mean, he may want 15, but his market value is less than or is right around 7. So, but Merrill Kelly again is like 37. I don't want a 37-year-old pitcher. If I get an old pitcher, it's going to be Justin Verlander. That's the only one I'm going beyond the age of 32. I think at this point for me, there are a lot of names out there, but what are they going to give you now, Eric? If we're talking number 5 starter, then some of those names maybe 36, 37 years old. Maybe those aren't bad options, but there are a lot of free agents this next year that would be worth looking at.
Yeah. So Merrill Kelly, he is coming off a 2-year, $18 million deal. That's $9 million per year. So maybe because you mentioned he is 37, could you go ahead and try to get him at a 2-year deal, maybe between $8 to $10 million a year, maybe even up to 12, just depending on maybe because teams are going to, after his performance last year, teams are going to give him the money. He had a 2.9 WAR, 12 wins, 9 losses, 167 strikeouts, and 184 innings. But what he offers is, I don't want to say a guarantee, because as we learned in 2025, there is no such thing as a guarantee in baseball. So you would think that Framber Valdez during a walk season would have his best season. He did not. And so, but Merrill Kelly is one of those consistent guys. Yeah, he's not one of those sexy guys, but if you think about it, Brett, he is 37, but he didn't start pitching in the big leagues until he was 30. So
you know what, Eric? That's right. Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at his numbers, and
right.
I was just merely thinking about his age. So that's that. No, I'm glad you mentioned that. That is a good point. Innings pitched 184, his second most in his career in 2022. He pitched 200 innings where he was 13-8. So look, he's got double-digit win seasons in 22, 23, and 25. He did give up 23 long balls. That was the most he's given up since 2019. But you know, the WAR is not bad with 2.90 WAR. You know, look, if you can bring him in, he is 37. Maybe you get him on a decent contract. Actually, you may have talked me out of it without trying to talk me out of it. I mean, talk me out of not wanting.
And he's also from Houston.
Yeah.
Well, he's born in Houston, but
okay.
He went to high school in Arizona.
Right. And then I believe he went to Arizona State. But I mean, there are other, to me, there are a lot of serviceable arms that can give you innings. And I haven't done a deep dive into all these pitchers and what they've done or what they can do. But you need someone to eat innings. You need someone that is going to last. You want someone who is going to be durable. You look at, Zach Eflin, he was 6-5 this last year. 23, he was 16-8. That was his big year. 177 innings was the most that he's pitched in a season. But last year, negative .36 WAR, only 50 strikeouts. He did only start 14 games. I believe he dealt with some injuries this last year. Yeah, he dealt with a back throughout the entire year. So that's a guy I don't know if you want to tap into too much. Because, Eric, injuries, I mean, just freak accidents, injuries. It's been insane. And for me to look back, I mean, look, as good as the Dodgers were in sweeping the Brewers, there was a point in the season where I thought LA might not make the playoffs because of all the injuries they were having to endure. So injuries has played a part in just about every team, whether you're in the playoffs or not right now.
Yeah. So Shane Bieber is another one. Zach Gallen, I think you mentioned him earlier, but he's probably going to average about 14 million per season. He is 30 years old. He's coming off a bad season, but you know what you can kind of expect in a full season. Well, I guess he had a full season. He just struggled a lot last year. He still had 175 strikeouts and 192 innings pitched, but his ERA was 4.83. And so the question is, with his FIP was 4.51. So his ERA plus was 89, which was one of his lowest of his career. So is he in regression or was just a down year? He's coming in 2024. He was 14-6 with 3.65 ERA. He had 156 strikeouts and 148 innings. And then the year before, 220 strikeouts, 210 innings pitched. So this is a guy that the Astros could possibly get at a cheaper rate. I don't know if it's going to take $20 million like it's going to take to sign Framber Valdez, but it's just another option. And then you also have the idea of trading for Dylan Cease. This is something that Jim Crane seems to keep on wanting to do. There's a reason why the Astros want Dylan Cease. The question is, does Dylan Cease even want to come to Houston? Do the Astros even have enough to make that trade? So then once he's here, could you go ahead and make that extension? So, guys, there's so much that we're going to have to be talking about all off season. And thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast your listen every day. We'll go and come back. We'll go ahead and talk about what should the Astros do at this point. Should they go ahead and rebuild or reload and get ready for 2026?
Well, it's that time of year where the NFL season is in full swing and your team is either in or out, according to some critics. It doesn't matter because FanDuel makes it fun no matter what's going on. Whether you're a Browns fan, a Texans fan, or a Bills fan, or you're a down and out I almost said Royals fan, Chiefs fan. Right now, if you make the right bet and the right pick and just $5, you get it right, you get $300 in bonus bets. That's right. If you win, that's money you can use across the entire app. I love how FanDuel gives you so many ways to play. You can build parlays, player props, tiered player props, and even follow the game follow the action live during the games and make bets as you go. It makes watching football even more exciting when you got a little something right on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or you love diving into stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. Go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube. We're getting closer and closer to 16,000 subscribers, and we will be here all off season. Speaking of off season, I know Dana Brown, Joe Espada are coming back for 2026. This was confirmed, but we don't know what's going on past that time. They're on a 1-year deal, and I'm pretty sure that's what Jim Crane likes, is to have 1-year deals just to kind of monitor the progress. But Dana Brown has a lot to decide about. We already talked about earlier. Does he go out and get that veteran like a Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen, whatever it takes to get somebody into Houston? Because as we talked about last year, you can never have too many starting pitchers. Or do they just do what they did last year? Just kind of say, you know what? We have enough in-house.
They don't have enough in-house. They can't do that this year.
What if Dana Brown thinks that?
Okay. Eric, we did that last. Okay. Okay. All the injuries, all the guys coming back mid-season. Okay.
I'm on your side. I'm just being devil's advocate here.
We're losing Valdez. Okay. We won't have Garcia. Lance McCullers, really? Who else? Garcia, if he comes back mid-season, he comes back.
Pretty sure he's out the whole season.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm saying is last year you had Wisniewski, you had Javier coming back, you had Garcia coming back, you had McCullers coming back, right? Mm-hmm. So you had the luxury of doing that, but this year you don't have that luxury. This year it is basically skin and it is just bones. I mean, there is no meat on the bones other than Hunter Brown. He is your one ace. Now we are hoping that Jason Alexander, gets in the mix. And I haven't mentioned a whole lot about Pearson, but Pearson, they are hoping is a starter and can do what they need him to do. Arrighetti, he stays away from freak injuries. He should be fine because it wasn't his elbow or anything like that. Hopefully he can eat up a lot of innings. Like you talked about Javier, he's making that money. It's really time for him to prove out who he is and why they paid him. So it all depends. They got AJ Blueball. I see him mentioned here. I think Alexander's going to play a key part. I don't think this is a rebuild. I just think this is reloading what they have. I think a rebuild is where you basically any superstars you have, you're just going to yard sell the team. You're like garage sale, Astros, they're going to pull a Drayton McClain. If you're rebuilding, it's a Drayton McClain thing. And you remember when Hunter Pence and Lance Berkman and everybody, left the Astros. I remember talking to Lance Berkman when right before he signed with either the Rangers or the Yankees. And I asked him, it was when the Astros were terrible. I was like, Lance, what are the chances of you coming and playing for Houston? He goes, if they would just offer me like a couple million, I'd come back. Like,
Right.
I was like, no. And that's when we were terrible. I remember sitting next to him at a play because both our kids were in a Christmas production at Second Baptist Houston. And I'm sitting there talking to him. And I'm just like, he's like, yeah, man. He goes, all they have to do is call me. He goes, I'll sign. And freaking, I think that's when he went to the Rangers. Like, what the heck? Like, but that's what it comes down to. Who is behind Hunter Brown that can hold the line and give you innings and give you production? Can you bring in a Merrill Kelly? Freddie Peralta, someone's talking about him in here. Freddie Peralta's got a $8 million club option in Milwaukee, and after his season.
There has been rumors that they're likely going to trade him.
Oh, okay. Well, if they trade him, that's insane. All they owe him is all they got to do is pay him $8 million. Why wouldn't you keep Freddie Peralta? He's $8 million. He was like 17-8 this last year.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We'll see if they trade him. I don't know if they're going to trade him, but there's a lot of rumors that are going to come
trade
up.
Him to us. We'll take him.
Yeah. I don't think the Astros have what the Brewers want. So
yeah, probably not. So what are you saying, Eric? Are you saying we're short on resources?
Yes, we're very short on trade resources.
We can give them our first round pick. I'm joking. I'm like, it's literally like, it's gonna be like a football trade. You know, it's like the Texans trading random linemen in like week 3 for like 6th round picks, you know?
Yeah.
But it is going to be an interesting year to see where they go in the winter meetings and seeing what precedent they set going into spring training.
I think that, I know people are not going to like this, but the offense, for the most part, is fairly set. They do need a backup catcher. They do need possibly another left-handed hitter because the lineup is too right-handed, especially if Alvarez is going to miss a lot of time.
So you don't think they're bringing back Caratini?
I do think I hope they are. That's why I said they need a backup catcher. And so,
so Caratini's your backup,
but they haven't done it yet. So that's why I said they need a backup catcher because they haven't re-signed him or anything yet.
Oh, okay.
So they do have some needs on offense. Definitely, I think this past year, I don't want to keep on going back to this. I think the offense was hit a lot by the injuries, and especially with Alvarez getting off to a bad start, then the injury. You're not going to win a lot of games without Alvarez hitting well and performing, but I think the big focus is going to be not only the rotation, but the bullpen. You have Brian Abreu, then you have a whole bunch of guys in the bullpen that were like, okay, wow, these are some nice finds for the Houston Astros. But can you really go into the offseason saying, okay, this is going to be great? Maybe tomorrow's podcast, we can look at the actual bullpen. But getting back to the rotation, I would say right now, Spencer Arrighetti, for me, is a number 5 guy. I think based off what he did last year, I think that's where he will be at this point.
You think he would be behind Jason Alexander?
Yeah.
He was number
with the way Jason Alexander, we kept on arguing about if they made the playoffs, he should maybe be the number 2 guy ahead of Framber Valdez. Yes, I think that Jason Alexander should be number 3 at this point, if he shows what he did this past year in spring training.
I just think if Arrighetti in spring training comes out and deals and does, I don't see them putting Alexander deeper in the rotation. I would not mind having him, because here's the thing. Think about if he's your number 5 starter. Who's the next guy after that? Hunter Brown. You got Jason Alexander, who depends on his changeup, okay? Who depends on the off-speed stuff. I mean, he's not a flamethrower, and you go from him to, Hunter Brown. I mean, yeah, you could push Jason Alexander up, but you flip the rotation, kind of like a number 9 hitter, right? Flipping that lineup. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. Who knows? Maybe Jason Alexander shines even more. I mean, look, I don't care where the guy is in the rotation. I just want him in a rotation. I want to see, but I want this Astros team to be able to do a 6-man rotation early on so they can keep the innings off of their starting pitchers so they can have longevity during the season.
Yeah, I guess my point was I don't see right now, based off his performance for 2025, I don't see Spencer Arrighetti as a number 3 guy. As of right now, he's probably the number 3 guy. Christian Javier is likely your number 2 guy. Jason Alexander, with what you're saying, is probably going to be a number 4 guy or number 3. So they need another arm for this rotation. If nothing else, just to add some more stability, because that's what the Astros lacked a lot last year. They didn't have a lot of pitchers that could go deep into games. You have Colton Gordon, sure. I think AJ Blueball is going to impress a lot of people, but I would really like to go out and get not just a name, but not an ace, but just somebody kind of in the middle. I think Merrill Kelly would be a perfect fit for Houston Astros. Yeah. And so I'm looking for that 2 or 3 guy. The Astros don't legitimately have one right now, unless you want to say Jason Alexander's the number 3 guy, and you want to say Christian Javier with those stints where he had a good game, he is your number 2 guy. That's just my point.
Yeah, exactly. And you also have Colton Gordon in there, who is really kind of hit or miss. Uola, if he can ever find the strike zone. You got Ethan Pecco.
Yeah.
There you go. JP France. Sorry, JP.
Lance McCullers. We don't know what they're going to do with him yet. So
yes, Lance McCullers. I love and respect the hell out of Lance McCullers. Okay. The guy's been through it and he hasn't given up. He hasn't quit. I think most of us listening to this podcast or watching this podcast would probably have given up before now. Right. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't. So if he can come back and be healthy and contribute, that's all I want. I have no expectations other than positive results from Lance McCullers. If he goes out, gives me 5 innings, gives up 1 run, keeps people in the game, keeps us there, that's all I need from Lance McCullers. I don't need anything else. I don't need 17 swings and misses in a row. I don't need 24 straight curveballs. I just need results. Pound the strike zone, move the ball around the zone, keep it up, and don't give a lot of tanks up, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, so we have all offseason to talk about this. Guys, go and make us part of your daily routine, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen. But thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. For your second listen, find me all night, Locked On MLB Game Night, every game, every night until a World Series champion is crowned. Go and check them out, and we will see you I guess tomorrow. I almost said next week, but we will see you tomorrow. And Brett, what do we always say?
Go Stros.
All right, see you tomorrow, guys.
This is Walker Yannick. You're listening to Lock.
Wrong one.